Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, back out here on another Saturday to push this work. I want to say all praises to Yahawah.
Hasham, Yahawashi, Hasham, Arakakwadash.
Double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Sanitation to all the sincere up them. Yeah, man. Keep on pushing, man. So we're in that time now, man. Year 2020.
That's right.
Things are happening. You know, where shall I start, man? Let's bring out that preset.
Second Ezra. This is Second Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and to them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings, nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power.
Yeah, man. So seditions, man. When I checked out that word, it's an uprising against the authorities, going against all authorities. Whatever they say, you're against it. And the protest beginning of September, they're anti-protest masks,
You have your anti-vaxxers too.
Anti-vaccine.
Yep.
Because people know how dangerous it is. Some woman, they say she was tested, trial test, and when they asked her how she felt, she said she felt like she felt soulless. So I'm assuming that they gave her a very small, because that's how they usually do their thing. They vent people like, what they call them, scapegoats, or test subjects, and they offer them a certain amount of money, test out a vaccine, whatever it is, give them a small dose, and then ask them, how they felt and the after effects. So they probably gave her a very, very minute dose. But when it comes to us, man, the children of Yahawah, there ain't going to be no small dose. Esau wants to get rid, as the elder always says, that God gene. He wants to take away that God gene. So she felt that way with that little dose. So, boy, yeah, carry on.
And this is a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid.
Right. Black Lives Matter protests. Yeah, the vaccine and anti-vaccine protests, where you got middle-aged women, middle-aged women coming out, going full speed ahead, man, against Esau. And Esau had they're coming in heavy-handed because they recognise how serious it is for them to go against the government. That sedition, that thing is contagious. So they probably got, from up above to come down heavy-handed on anybody that tries to, it's going to sweep across the globe. So they're saying, right, we're going to go in heavy-handed, whoever it is. Over in Europe, you see these, was it the yellow protest, yellow vest protests, which a lot of it is led by women, the feminism protests, and I was watching how heavy-handed a lot of those soldiers were, man. Which they're gonna release the what do you call them soldiers what they got them over there in America. You got the militia, you got the
Blackwater, right?
Huh?
There's another group of SWAT team groups in America called Blackwater.
Groups,
yep.
And they're really arming themselves, man. Because even one of I was watching Karen, and she said that if we were so weak and vulnerable, why would they need tanks to keep us in check?
Right.
See, they recognise how powerful we really are. You see, and that's their gift, man. So they want to say, as the Esau has it usually says, they say nip it in the bud. They want to nip it in the bud, but when they increase, you got people that are just crazy because they realise that, especially Edomites, when they realise that they're back against the wall and they want to have their rivalries, their pubs, that's their life, man. Pubs, having their beers. When I go to the shop around the corner to pay my bills and things, there's usually some Edomite in there buying a whole heap of beers, lagers, and you know, they're coming in and they're buying it. That's their life, man. So you can't stop them from having their drinking after 10. You know, their after midnight parties and getting drunk and standing outside the pub. So when they do that, and what's the other thing now?
Yeah, we was talking about it.
Yeah, the
Boris Johnson, he's looking to do away with what is it? Halloween.
Halloween, bloody hell, man! When he said, when the elder said that, I said, boy, you can't. Esau lives for Halloween.
Yeah.
I was brought up around a lot of Edomites. I spent a lot of time with Bethany Queen, and some of my real close friends were Edomites. And when you go and walking around, you know, around that time, it's just about to get into Halloween, and you know, they say, what's that thing, trick or treat? You know, that's your fun, man. You see that, you know, Esau's rebellious by nature, so he's got to do things that are sort of like spontaneous, and also getting rid of the Christmas and the New Year's Eves, and that means they can't celebrate, they can't do their hair down, man. So that's just going to make them go mad, man.
But you know it's heavy though, right? Being that you've said that, because that's in itself an indication of the end of their civilization. Because if you're at the end of your civilization, as the powers that be know, what is there to celebrate about? You see that?
Yeah, and I was over the park not the other day, and it's dark, and I don't mind, you know, being in a lot of open space. You know, you like that open space, and it's dark, kind of getting dark. You know, we're in that time now, autumn and going into winter, so it's getting dark earlier. But Edomites were everywhere, same way. You know, they don't believe in home. They're staying at home and just chilling and relaxing. That's Jake's thing. Staying at home and chilling and putting his foot up, and you know. Yep. I don't want to use that stereotype.
You know, Esau's the man in the field.
Yeah.
You know, a cunning hunter. You know.
So they're out there with their gal. You know, I go a corner thinking, yeah, this is going to be all quiet. You know, we was testing out test running my thing. And they're there around the corner, they're there up in the hills, they're there in the bushes, Esau everywhere in the dark. So, and time for it's also, you got the patrol they come in the fields too now, because Esau, especially with the summertime, when they were saying that the anti-social distancing, and there's a big pond, and it was that day, that kind of nice day where people just wanted to be out there, man. You know, Esau wanted to let his hair down, be wild as he is, a man of the field, jumping in the lakes. So I went there the next day, and they said no more swimming in the lake, because Esau just when you tell Esau you can't do something, like no more Halloween, no more Christmas, no more New Year, he's oppressed, man. He's oppressed.
I've got a precept to back
he's been straightened out. Not straightened out, but straightened out.
I've got a precept for you.
Position of difficulty.
And 16. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that should take as my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and cast my words behind thee.
Yes. You tell Esau you can't do something, you can't have that. You know, the little youth them in the shop, no, I want this for Christmas, you can't have it. He's on the floor screaming and banging up the place, making up all little noise. That's Esau, and that's the spirit of Esau. They don't like to be told, they don't like to be reproved, they don't like to be told that you can't have something. They go mental, they're spoiled brats. All of them are spoiled brats. So that's why we're going to have, back to that word sedition, that's why they're going to uprise and they're going to rebel. Because they know their kingdom is slipping away from them. It's, you know, they're losing grip of their kingdom. And I was watching, you know, you've got Holy adverts now. They sneak in their adverts when you're on YouTube. Everything's adverts. Esau's always popping up in adverts now. Like you might be listening to some music or watching. I like to watch my boxing on YouTube, and then in between something that is very like you're enthralled with it, and there's an advert that pops out, but I know where he's selling something, or he's advertising a car or something. And their dream, because they're so upset that the power their power is slipping away from them, their dominance. I watched this advert. I was tempted to watch the end of it, and I was watching Esau out there on holiday. And you got it could be a tropical country. You got slaves. Jake is a chauffeur, or Jake is serving him in a restaurant, or Jake is someone beneath, someone who's serving Esau in the advert, because Esau's mindset is that they remember those days when Jake was beneath them and Esau was above. So now that thing is slipping away. Jake they can see is almost an even playing field. Not quite, but almost an even playing field, where Jake is getting a bit more, he's getting more credibility, and that's too much. So how they get they lie to themselves is that they want to see more of those adverts. That's why they make those type of adverts where they show Jake in a subservient position, because that makes them feel good about it.
Yes, it makes them feel superior, like they're still doing pretty well.
Yeah. So they don't want that to slip away from them. So that's why when you're listening to some nice music, relaxing, chilling, you're watching some sport that you like to watch, you got an advert coming in halfway, you're doing a video, you could be doing a really fooling video that you really see, you want your brothers to catch it, some of those news channels. Even in between a video, there's some advert come up, Esau selling some perfume, the woman must sell some perfume. So you can't avoid Esau. Esau don't want his kingdom to go.
That's right.
And he wants you to be in food with he wants you to be infatuated with him, because he's narcissistic. See, yeah.
This is Psalm 64:2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Yes. So that's it, man. Most High, we ask the Most High to hide us, man, from the secret place. Read it again.
Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Yeah, the counsel it's secret, man. But he puts it out there. It's a programming. You know what I'm saying? It's a programming that he wants you to have, because when you was in slavery, you knew you was a servant to Esau.
Yeah.
You was subject to his authority, his white supremacy. You get up in the morning, nearly fully junior, which I like how his analytical breakdowns of white supremacy, and it makes things very, very simple because of his practical way of talking. He says that they study us, so then they get to know what we like. We like rap music, so they listen. They know you like rap music. They may watch a little bit of that and see, understand it, so that they can communicate with you. But their motive to communicate with you is so that they can get an even playing field with you. But really, they want you back on their plantation. So they know a bit about you, so that they can
manipulate you again.
Manipulate you. So that is what you call a psychologist, man. So the secret counsel that they approach you with is very, very, it's in your face, it's direct. Sometimes it's direct, sometimes it's indirect. TV programming, television programming.
Jump to verse 6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep.
Yes, diligent search, man. They accomplish a diligent search. They search out iniquities, man. Not for sincere, not for good reasons. If you talk about the herbs or the so-called doctor, the falsifiers, they do the exact same thing with the herbs, with their vaccines, with the potential vaccines. They search their acts. They know that we have the God gene. We have the potential superhero, the Superman gene, the real Superman gene, which Yahawashi, which is the real super. Even that's that doesn't explain Yahawashi properly, because he's not a man. He's surpasses any kind of man, and we are going to be gods potentially, So they search out iniquities through their herbs, through their media, to undermine you, Jake. Through their,
and like you said, their marketing.
Their marketing.
They know what you like. They know what colours they use, different colour patterns.
To get
all
you.
of that. Yellow. What's yellow for? Warning. It's for warning, and also to entrap you. Red for seduction. It could be used different colours for different things.
Yeah.
Or blue to calm your ass down.
Yeah. And green.
Yeah. So they use that's their manipulation tactics, man. You know, in the shops they got things set out in a certain way. You know, sweets. When they get you from a young age with sweets. Most of us have a natural. When you're young, most children have a tendency to want sweet things. So, but which I'm getting back to the natural. I'm getting back to the natural, like the cherries. I've done videos on things like cherries. That's sweet. That's a natural sweet. That is good for you. Figs. You got the fresh figs. You got the dried figs. That is good for you. But they use it and they turn everything, put it on the left hand side for you to take sugar, which gives you high blood pressure.
Yeah.
Sugar diabetes. Yeah. So when you grow up, you're gonna grow up with some kind of sickness, suffering from that you were doing it naturally, but because you have a natural urge for sweet, because sweet things, not all sweet things are bad for you, but because you have a natural urge to eat sweet things, they've got it on the left hand side, mixed with all kind of preservatives. So when a lot of people, they get older, they get problems with their foot, their joints, salt in the joints. You know, old people on wheelchair, all them things. When you see people in wheelchair, they can't get up properly, their joints are all stiffened up. Yamming all of the swine and all kind of bad food, because Esau is taking your natural need for things that the body and the brain needs and put it on the left hand side to cause you to be sick. So a lot of people don't live to their 40 years old, or when they're 40 their body starts to break down. And Esau using the sales tactics, you know, and it works in his favour against your natural God gene, your natural melanin. Which on the right hand side, if you look after yourself, you look after your body, which a lot of them people that I always mention, that people that are over in China and Hong Kong, they understand about how the body, to preserve the body, to keep it healthy. And that's why a lot of them eat healthy food.
Yeah, I've got a precept for you. This is Isaiah 24, and get straight to the point. 5. The earth is also defied under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Yes, man. They've broken the laws, they've transgressed the laws. You know, that's why the food is defiled, man. That's the precept.
I got that.
Yeah, all right, yeah. So the food, hold it. So the food is defiled. So for us, it's aimed at us. It's aimed at us because we are mini supermen, you know, under Yahawashi, under King David, potentially. You know, once even now, if we look after the body, that's why you got all our sportsmen, you know, LeBron James, basketball man, MMA, John Jones, and there's new ones coming up all the time. Israel Adesanders. He just had a fight just recently.
I see that. I watched that. He mashed him up bad.
Costa, he's an Israelite, you know, and he mashed him up. That guy was undefeated, man. He come with that bravado, that muscular thing.
And he was oversized as well. We didn't weigh him right. It was over the size.
and he brings the muscle. He brings the macho, invincible. He's got that. He's got the air of the Hulk, which no one. I'm gonna walk through whatever you do, you know. Yeah. But Adesanya, he just studied him, you know. He studied and he used his tactics. He kept him at a distance, and he got in and he counted him, and he knocked him out. I think it was the second round he knocked him out. But he knew the way to beat someone like that was So yeah, as I was saying, we are the supermen, regardless. Even now with our frail bodies, and Esau knows that. Who else? Floyd Mayweather in the boxing.
Tyson, man.
Tyson, yeah, old school Tyson.
You
know, he just used to step to him with a ruler, step to him with speed and skill, and knock him out. So we are the supermen, man.
Can't. And even at the age that he's at right now, he's still, hey man, he still can get in there.
Yeah, I hope he does retire though. I hope he doesn't.
Can't.
Him and
I'm worried for Roy Jones.
Yeah, me too.
I'm real worried for him because boy, that ferocity that you never really lose that. When you've been training for that much years, it's still there. You pick it up quick. Even though certain things take time. Mike Tyson, he's naturally got it, so it didn't take him long to pick it up.
Yeah, they say that the last thing to go is the power. So once he's in that, once he finds his momentum, he finds his he gets back into that frame of mind. Yeah, that's where Roy Jones has to be careful, because Roy Jones is known for his speed and his legs, and he's pretty intelligent up there. But Roy Jones, I fear, because he ain't got the legs he used to have, the speed he used to have, he's at a vulnerable position. Now I hope if you ask me, I hope they both retire, man. They've proven their point, man. One thing I don't like about Esau, well, if you're a singer, he don't let you rest, man. You like Alexander O'Neal, he's been singing for years, man. The old school Alexander O'Neal. And he's done a whole of a bit. He still does. They're still got him doing like concerts, man. Huh? Yeah, the man ain't well, man. Someone said they saw him doing that, and he's on medication because they don't let you die and retire with your wealth. They've got ways of holding you back from storing up your wealth for your next generation. Once you've made your money when you're young, and that's what I'm saying with all these entertainers. They need to just get, with boxing, it's a means to an end. You get in when you're young, because that's where the strength is, as we was talking about. The young man is known for their strength. The beauty of young men is their strength. And the old men is their wisdom. So now they should just use that wisdom to bring up the next batch of man them coming through. Tyson, like I say, Roy Jones Jr., Floyd, Mayweather. Use your wisdom, you prove your point, you kind of pass your peak now. You know what I'm saying? Rest and bring the next batch coming through, man. With a man, because it's a young man's sport. You know.
Yeah, I got Ezekiel 4:13. What you were talking about with the food, and the Lord Yahawah said, "Even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them."
Yes, that defiled bread, man. You know. So that's the balance. We have to. Elder Apostle Ramla, one of his videos, he mentioned that if we was to try to not have anything in our bodies that are unhealthy, he said we would drop dead. If we was to try to avoid all unhealthy food, which is the balance, we would drop dead, because everything's been tainted. So we can't do that. You know, so that's the balance to eating healthy. You can't avoid unhealthy food. So, which I've learned that in everything you have to be balanced in everything. So what I've done with myself, and I put it over in some when I go into the health, is that you have to set aside time to have yourself a little treat. You know, when I first came into the truth, I never used to go nothing, have no wine. I never really have. I mean, now I'm into my chocolate, but I'm going for the chocolate that is more healthy, like the dark chocolate. You know what I mean? I'm into that a bit more now. And the wine, not the lame wine, the cheap one, you see some of them in Sainsbury's. The ones that are more vintage, classic. I'm into that, but I'm not just going to be extreme about none of the things. I'm not going to try and abstain from everything that is bad for me. You can't. That's bad.
That's being over righteous.
It can't be done. Even if you try, you can't do it. And even if you do it, these bodies are rebellious bodies. These bodies have to do something that is it will crave.
It needs an outlet.
An outlet. It will crave. If you say, right, I'm not eating chocolate anymore, you'll crave it. So that the way to get around that is to have yourself a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of dark chocolate. Just have it there in the house to try and be balanced with everything.
And there's another kind of chocolate too you can have, which is cacao.
Yeah,
cacao is really good.
Yeah.
Especially good for the brain too.
Yeah, you got that can come in the powder form, where you can just drink it like you're drinking Ovaltine or chocolate, hot chocolate in a natural form, where you're feeding your body and you're feeding it in a balanced way. You know, you're satisfying those cravings, man.
Proverbs 31:6. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts.
Yes.
Let him drink and forget his poverty, remember his misery no more.
Yeah, man. You have yourself a little drink, man. Well, I'm going to talk for myself, you know. When I do a video, and I'm happy to get that I've done a video, and I've said, and I brought out the scriptures that I wanted to bring out. I feel as though I've accomplished something, because I've gone against the natural tendency. And I after I licked some music, man, I told one of the brothers, I celebrate, man, you know. And the brother was around the other day. I said, listen, I'm celebrating right now, because we had some work to do, but I said I've got to do the video first. So I done the video, done the work, so I celebrated because I pleased the Most High, you know what I'm saying? So I sipped some wine, you know, and not all the time the body wants wine anyway. So with me, I'm not a natural wine. I'm not an alcoholic. What's the word, man? I can't hold my alcohol, so I know that even if I wanted to, I can't overdo it anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll drink my little wine. I won't be able to drink probably for the next couple of days. And when I've accomplished something again, I'll celebrate and give glory to the Most High, sip some wine, or may not sip any wine. I might just go outside and say, all praise to Yahawashi and Shai, the Wada Yahawah, the Wada Yahawah. Show him that I'm grateful, because I couldn't do it if it wasn't for him anyway. He gave me the spirit to do it, you know. So yeah, we can't avoid defiled food even if we tried. So that's the balance. But when we know our body needs something that it craves things that are not right, but we have to also withdraw from things that are not right for our body too, because a little bit of mild exercise, moderate exercise. If you could bring that out, that's Timothy. You know that one?
One, I don't exactly know where it is. I'll look.
Bring out what you got then, and we can come back to that.
Hey, you are, can I say something, right? As I'm seeing you talk, right, through this camera, basically, like, you know how the scripture says, a man speak of the abundance of his heart? Hey, man, what you're talking about is basically everything that surrounds the herbs, man, or your diet, the balancing of your diet. Say, hey, every brother got their own little, lot.
Yeah, well, you know, most I want me to bring it, if the spirit, the most I'm saying bring it out, you know what I'm saying?
God. You got teachers, you got prophets, and you got herbalists too. Yeah.
Which are still men of the Lord.
Exactly.
Still a part of the body.
Exactly.
So moderate exercise, you know, that's also easy on your body, it eases off stress, it's actually good for stress. I've been to certain places before I was in the truth. I've been to seminars, lectures, with the days of Dr. Sabi and Layla Africa. Those days, both of them, man, they pass on. It's interesting that they're both gone now. Because the Dr. Layla Africa, he just died, I think early this year. You know, so-called herbalists or holistic healers. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's anything involved, conspiracy going on there, I don't know. But when I used to go to some of the seminars, some people who were doing everything right, this is the balance, back to what I was saying about the balance, doing everything right, and they still had problems, man. There's still some woman said she had cancer, they found out she had cancer. She was eating everything right, you know, but a lot of it they were saying is down to stress. Even if you're eating everything right, ultimately the Most High anyway, but you know, even if she was doing everything right, she still had problems. Some people had breast cancer, saying, you know, questions and answers. A woman said she had breast cancer, she did eat everything right, she had breast cancer. Someone had this, someone had that. Stress. So moderate exercise relieves stress, or time out from this concrete jungle. This concrete jungle is all based on meeting deadlines. I learned this from a young, you know, when I was a bit young. Everything, when you have to meet deadlines, this deadline, you've got to keep looking at your watch. Oh yeah, they done a test with one man that was self-employed and another man that was working for someone. What the man who was self-employed did, he put all his stress on the man beneath him. So the man beneath him now had to reach that deadline, get on that plane, go to a meeting, and he's always looking at his watch. So he died, you know, he started to suffer from stress because reaching deadlines there, it pushes stress on you, concrete jungle. So how I realized sometimes you just got to take, even Yahawashi did this.
Yeah, I was just about to get Isaiah 53, I'll get that for you now. Isaiah 53 and 3. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And as we hid, as it were, our faces from him, he was despised and we esteemed him not.
Yeah. Do you know the one where he went out and he took some quiet time away from
man.
That's got to be in John 6.
When he went to the mountain.
So yeah, Yahawashi, you know, he was stressed, man. He was just he had a mission to do, and he had to carry that mission out in amongst a wicked and sinful generation. He was going against.
Try verse 42, I believe it is.
He was,
Yeah.
he was going against the grain, and he had to deal with the Sadducees and all the merchants who were selling, buying and selling, and he knew he had a mission to do. He was going against the grain, so he took some time out. He relaxed. We know he drank wine to alleviate a lot of that unnecessary stress. So, like I said, moderate exercise, just meditating on the things that we got, which are not far from. We're not far from now. Which I'm probably going to do a video because I had a dream about being in a castle. Massive castle, and if you tap on Google and you just tap on castle and you just look at some of them castles what Esau's got even now in this kingdom, which is good, which ain't going to be able to compare to what we're going to have. But if you just looked at some of these Rothschild's castles and the Queen Palace and all that, you know, the royalty, what the castles they got up in Russia, and some of when you see they're up in the hills on top of mountains, you know. But we're going to have that on the right hand side, which we can't really visualize, but we can only imagine.
Verse 15.
John 6 and 15.
Yeah. Start with verse 14 though.
Okay. This is John 6 and 14. Then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Yahawashi did, said, "This is a truth that the prophet should come into the world." When Yahawashi therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into the mountain himself alone. And when even was now come, his disciples went down into the sea.
Yeah. See, he come to do the Most High's will. He didn't come to be crowned king. So he withdrew himself. He wasn't about the limelight. He was about doing the Most High's will. He was on a journey. He was on a mission. So it's kind of similar to the one. It's kind of similar, but he actually knew to withdraw himself. And there's another precept that he said that he took time out away, because I was talking about meditating. And sometimes it's good to just take yourself away from, even if you can't do it physically, mentally, because to focus on what we got in the future. So that actually helps you psychologically alleviate stress. Because I can't be around. I always say I'm not really a people's person.
Go on.
I'm more of a
Introvert.
I'm introvert.
Same, man.
That's the word. I'm more introvert. I'm happier like if I'm in an open space. I can see land for miles and miles and miles and miles. Like I say, I had that dream about being in a castle. And I know that's in the future. It's good to meditate on things like that, where we're going to have our own land. You know, back home on my mother's side, they've got their own little plot of land.
Go on.
And they have their little chickens,